Welcome to Meet the Press Now. I'm Kristen Welker in New York, and we begin with the fire hose of news coming out of the White House right now. Tensions between President Trump and Elon Musk have now exploded and are playing out in a very public way. It comes after the president today held a wide-ranging Oval Office appearance alongside the German chancellor, where he addressed a number of issues, including his sweeping new travel ban, his new investigation into former President Biden and his aides, and his recent calls with the leaders of China and Russia. But it's President Trump commenting for the very first time about Elon Musk's efforts to tank his mega bill in Congress that is driving the news right now, with President Trump suggesting Mr. Musk, who just left his administration less than a week ago, has now become hostile.
Elon's upset because we took the EV mandate, and which was a lot of money for electric vehicles, and they're having a hard time, the electric vehicles, and they want us to pay billions of dollars in subsidy. And Elon knew this from the beginning. He knew it for a long time ago. Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. People leave my administration and they love us, and then at some point they miss it so badly, and some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it.
As President Trump was speaking in the Oval Office, Elon Musk was responding in real time, posting on X, quote, whatever, as the president spoke about Musk's criticisms and questioned his motives. Musk also pushed back on the president's claims that he knew what was in the bill and even floated the idea of creating a new political party. Musk has been repeatedly posting on social media about the president all afternoon. President Trump then escalated things even further, writing on his social media platform, the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. NBC News Chief Justice and National Affairs Correspondent Kelly O'Donnell is at the White House, and NBC News senior national political reporter Sahil Kapur is on Capitol Hill. Kelly, let me start with you and that feud between Elon Musk and President Trump. It is escalating. It's really been extraordinary to watch. We've seen Tesla's stocks drop throughout the afternoon. Talk about the stakes of what we're witnessing.
This is like a Cat 5 hurricane in terms of a personal relationship and a professional one that is imploding before our eyes. And is it salvageable? We'll have to see. But certainly Elon Musk, when he left his government service, became more vocal about his concerns about the bill that is the president's signature policy achievements, his desire to extend tax cuts and to have border enforcement funding and a lot of other things. It's massive in scope. And it does extend the deficit, something that Musk feels very strongly about. But what has happened personally today, in just the time where the president was visiting with the chancellor of Germany, was asked about what comments Musk had made, and it has devolved in a series of back and forth comments on the sites that they each own, X for Musk, Truth Social for the president, and it's gotten very personal. And it's gone to the jugular in terms of business, where President Trump is threatening to pull funding, and Musk's businesses all have very intertwined government contracts. That's the backbone of his business. There's a lot of national security and classified information in what he does with the space program and so forth. So that is a threat that could really level the Trump empire. And then at the same time, Musk has gone for the personal and has raised the issue of the Jeffrey Epstein files and Donald Trump being a part of that. So it's almost hard to imagine it getting uglier or more existential. And yet here are these two people that each have a unique base of power that is considerable. They have a lot of influence. And the question will be, will either of them blink or look to try to repair things? That is certainly where this has to go. It's either going to get worse or there's going to be some attempt to calm things down, get off their, someone take their phones away, and have a chance to maybe see if they can find some common ground. It is an extraordinary thing, and when we talk about extraordinary things in the Trump era, that's graded on a curve, and today is certainly one of those that is really remarkable in terms of what was in some corners viewed as a co-presidency. It was never that really, but in terms of imagery, and now such a feud.
Yeah, it's such an important context, Kelly, I think, to give this. Sahil, as Kelly is rightfully noting, we often talk about extraordinary happenings in the Trump administration, and we do grade that on a curve because we have witnessed a number of extraordinary moments, but certainly this one stands out. You are there on Capitol Hill, where there has been nonstop political drama as Republicans try to get the so-called big, beautiful bill across the finish line. And now this has happened. What is the reaction that you're hearing from lawmakers at this hour?
Well, Kristen, lawmakers up here are absolutely stunned at how rapidly this fight between President Trump and Elon Musk is escalating. Among most of the Republican members I've talked to, there's a bit of a feeling of mom and dad are fighting. Why can't they just get along? They don't want to be on Elon Musk's bad side. Some fiscal hawks and hardliners are a little bit emboldened by the fact that Elon Musk is saying some version of what they've been saying for some time, which is that the deficit increase is bad in this bill. It does increase the deficit by more than $2 trillion, and they want to find more savings. Having said that, the Speaker of the House is responding, defending himself against Elon Musk's criticisms of this bill. Take a look at what Speaker Johnson tweeted on Elon Musk's platform X just moments ago. The Mike Johnson of 2023 is the same Mike Johnson who has always been a lifelong fiscal hawk. He goes on to defend the bill. Now, this comes one day after the Congressional Budget Office said there would be a $2.4 trillion increase in the debt simply because the tax cuts outstrip the spending cuts that they ultimately find. Now, look, Kristen, I've been covering Capitol Hill for some time now. I will say it looks like Elon Musk did not get the memo that the deficit and the debt has not been and is not currently a first-order priority for Republicans. It's good rhetoric on the campaign trail. It's very useful rhetoric when they're out of power and trying to make the case against Democratic spending priorities. But when Republicans are in power, they prioritize tax cuts. They prioritize military spending increases. Yes, they sometimes do spending cuts, but the deficits usually go up when Republicans are in power. And Elon Musk is calling that out. He is accurate to call that part out.
You know, it's interesting, Sahil, because so much of what we've been talking about and the reporting has revolved around this EV tax credit that Elon Musk has privately told lawmakers is going to cost his company billions of dollars if it's not in this bill. He's been trying to apply pressure behind the scenes. He personally lobbied President Trump. Do we think that there's any chance, just to quiet Elon Musk, that EV tax credit could get added back into the bill?
No, I don't think so, Kristen. That's extremely unlikely. That EV funding is going to be phased out. They are tinkering around with the dates there. The House has a certain set of phase-outs. I talked to Shelley Moore Capito, who's the chair of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee. She confirmed to me just a few hours ago that the EV money is coming out of the bill. They might move the dates back a little bit because she said she worries, and senators have gotten complaints about existing business investments getting harmed by this. But the EV funding, the rollbacks of this, they were passed by Democrats on a party line basis in 2022, and this was a huge part of the bargain, a critical part of the bargain with fiscal conservatives in terms of how to limit the red ink in this bill. If that comes out, there's a good chance Republicans would just be creating more problems than they're solving.
All right. Well, Sahil, I know you're bracing for a busy couple of weeks as Senate Republicans try to get this across the finish line. Thank you so much for joining us. Kelly-O, I can't let you go just yet because there's so much news that came out of the White House today, including President Trump commenting on that new travel ban, his justification, linking it to the anti-Semitic attack in Boulder earlier this week. What were the key takeaways there?
Well, what's extraordinary about that is he is citing the Boulder attack as an urgent reason why this kind of action, limiting foreign nationals from a variety of countries from coming into the U.S., where he says there has been a problem of terrorism or a problem of visa overstays, and then individuals who seek to do harm. However, Egypt is the country of origin for the foreign national who has been detained, and Egypt is not on this list. When asked about that obvious contradiction, the president described the fact that he's got a very good working relationship with Egypt. We have seen that, to be sure, but it's striking to use that as an example and yet not have Egypt included, or to find some other example. There are experts who have looked at the various countries that are involved here and say the likelihood of Americans being attacked by foreign nationals from these countries is extremely remote, and yet this is something that also ties into the president's muscular approach on immigration. There are carve-outs for certainly green card holders, immediate family members, people attending the teams attending the World Cup, something the president is very proud to have the U.S. hosting. There's a list of those carve-outs that would alleviate some of the concern, but we know from the first administration when there was a ban that was broadly called a Muslim ban. In this instance, the countries are diverse and are not Muslim majority populations overall. Some are, but many are not. That the panic that was set off at airports and the confusion about people who had families caught between countries or different plans in their lives that were disrupted by this. That may come again in some other form when those carve-outs prove to not be inclusive of everyone who would want to come to the United States. It's a significant policy move for the administration.
Indeed it is. And Kelly, quickly before I let you go, President Trump commenting on his call with President Xi, he says it lasted for over an hour and a half this morning. Are they any closer to getting a deal?
He's claiming there is a deal, and yet that is not something that we're hearing from China at this point. He put a very positive spin on it, said each leader invited the other to come for a visit. That's a significant diplomatic gesture. He talked about there's going to be a resolution on the rare earth minerals, which are desperately needed by American car companies and other parts of industry. But he also said he's tasking his top economic team to finalize a deal. But it is still unclear to us if this conversation actually resulted in a deal or if it's an incremental part of the negotiations. All
right, Kelly O'Donnell covering all of the angles, and there were
what a day
lot
here,
of them today. What a day, and you are there, of course, the front lines of all of it. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.